Well, if you love violence, once again this week, you've come to the right place. Welcome to the Fight Guys. I'm Erik Apple, and if you like hanging out with beautiful men who fight, you came to the right place today. We got Alan Jouban.
What's up, man? Well, that's quite the introduction, man. I appreciate that. Good to see you, man. Good to catch up with you again.
Beautiful men in linen closets, it looks like. Is that where your studio is?
Did you say a linen closet?
It looks like that's like a linen, like the drawers or the dresser behind you.
I got to reorganize my office up there. It's a small office for sure, but no, I've just got shit everywhere.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us this week. We want to talk to you for a little bit and see what you're up to. I mean, you're a name in the sport that people get to see a little bit because we do get to see that face on TV.
Yeah, no, and I love it, man. I love what I do. I'm at the stage of my career where I've been retired for 5 years now. Broadcasting is what gave me like a smooth transition into the post-fight career, because a lot of fighters, they get done, they don't know what they want to do, man. I mean, it's not only for income, for money, but guys finish retiring and they wake up and they don't have that purpose to get out of bed every morning. And where before fighting's a very selfish sport, right? And so we would wake up and you're like, all right, go to the gym, recover, go back to the gym, recover, look at this date, check off the boxes, talk to my coaches, et cetera, et cetera. And then when you've done that for 10 to 20 years and then you stop, I went through a lull, man, where I just didn't know what to do. Not only did I stop fighting, but I moved from LA back to my original home in Lafayette, Louisiana. So not only was it a new career, or my career of fighting was over, but it was a new city. And getting back in the gym, I found, is what really saved me. Going back to jiu-jitsu, getting back to some of my roots, going after my black belt, getting my black belt, it kind of kept me sane. And it felt like I was still able to kind of get better at something every day while working on the broadcasting. And so bringing it back around to broadcasting, I love it. I absolutely love what I do. I'm so grateful that the UFC gave me the opportunity, because I really feel like it was something that I was meant to do after this career.
Tell me, do you think it was did it help you to move back to Louisiana, or did it make it harder once you retired? I mean, I would almost think it would make it easier, because you're jumping into a new life in a new place instead of being in the same old place trying to have a new life.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's a good way to look at it. You're kind of starting a whole new life over, literally, in terms of a new city, new house, new schools for my son, new job for my wife, everything, right? And so it was really that. But I also found it very hard, because I had a routine in Los Angeles, like I said, where I had 4 different gyms I would go to. And it's like, that was my life. And when I took the fighting out of it, and then just my routine as a life away, and started over in a new city, it was tough at first. I mean, if I'm honest with you, it was rough in the beginning, just learning how to live in a new environment again with a new job. But we got through it. Training obviously helped me, as I said, and then being able to go on the road and see new cities and go back to Vegas and be a part of fighting has been it's been special. And right now things are just, it's gotten so busy for all of us guys that are doing it, because it was the UFC, which is still what we all want to do, and we all like, I'm striving to become a color commentator and get a seat up there one day, but it's with BJJ now, and the UFC BJJ and Power Slap, and the TKO boxing's about to start.
There's a lot of content.
Road to the UFC. I mean, all these things. It's just giving so many fighters opportunities, giving guys like me that are analysts opportunities to just keep building the sport and doing what we love, really.
I mean, there's a lot of content the UFC is producing now, so it's giving more and more opportunities for guys like you to find a spot, right?
Yeah, big time. I mean, it keeps us very occupied, which is what everybody wants, man. I mean, everybody wants to work every single weekend, and there's already so many guys in the stable. So there's so many guys in the stable that are looking to do it, and you got to try to make everybody happy. And so the more events that you have, the more different organizations they have, we kind of find our niche. But look, this whole thing started for me in broadcasting like 10 years ago. They had a big audition, and they brought in all of us. They brought in me and Stephen Wonderboy Thompson and Paul Felder and all these guys. There's probably like 20 fighters, 10 play-by-play guys, and we all auditioned in Burbank. And what it was for was the audition for who's going to be the guy who's going to commentate on Dana White Contender Series. And Paul Felder got the job, and he was the man for it. He was the most polished. You see how far he has come in his career.
Yeah, he's good.
But ever since I did that one, it really gave me the bug. Excuse me. And since I had that audition years ago, I've been just working on the craft of broadcasting and getting out there and having a voice and having an opinion. And fortunately, the UFC brought me on about 5 years ago as I retired, and the work's been great, man. It's really been. Dustin Poirier obviously had his retirement fight 2 weekends ago, and this is something that he very much wants to continue to do. And I've spoken to him about this a lot because it's like he's fought. He said this the other day. He said, "I've fought longer than I haven't fought," and it's kind of crazy when you think about that. He's fought for 20 years. You know, the guy's 36 years old. He's been fighting longer than he hasn't fought. And so for now, him to turn the page in that, it's not going to be easy. But I think him getting into broadcasting, working with ESPN, they love him over there, and he's doing a fantastic job. He's only going to get better and better and get more comfortable in that seat. And that's something that a lot of fighters are striving to do, to stay involved in the sport in some way.
You know, you're doing this the opposite way that I did it, which is funny. So I was hosting the X Games and King of the Cage and all kinds of action sports events in my late teens or early 20s before I ever trained a day of MMA. I was hosting King of the Cage pay-per-view events before I ever fought. And the funny thing is, even since I've been a fighter, every time I've commentated fights, I don't think I've ever done color. I've always done the play-by-play, which is the opposite of what a fighter should be doing. Yeah. I should be doing the color, telling you what I think and how I feel, instead of just saying who, what, where, why. It's always been so awkward for me. So I've always been jealous of you guys that get to say how you feel.
Well, that's the there's a guy in the PFL, and I apologize to him I can't think of his name, but yeah, he had a UFC career for a while, and he went to the PFL, and he's their play-by-play guy. And so sometimes guys just find their niche in it. I definitely would not be good at the play-by-play. That's usually the traffic cop, the more organized person that's teeing things up. That's not really what I'm great at, but I love it when somebody tees you up on something that you're passionate about. Like, the audience they're going to receive that. They're going to understand that you love what's happening right now, and you can explain it to them very thoroughly because you've done this, whatever this position is, this movement, this transition 1,000 times in your head already, or 1,000 times in person already. And so it's easy for you to kind of vocalize it to the audience and relay that message. And so, color commentating is definitely a fun job. I love that you get to narrate a story. You know, I mean, like, I look at these fights that have happened and think about Conor McGregor versus Khabib or fights like that, and to be a part of that history and be able to be the one that narrates and helps tell the story for the audience. That's kind of what makes it so exciting for me to be a part of.
Yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful sport, and you get to be a part of the story. I wanted to ask you, obviously you're still involved with the sport. It's funny, a lot of people I talk to who fought 5, 6, 10 years ago pay no attention to the sport anymore. You're on the opposite end. You're paying a lot of attention. Obviously, it's part of your job and part of your passion. Who these days is exciting for you? Like, who do you get fired up for?
You know, MMA, or I say MMA, UFC, because I pay much closer attention to the UFC, obviously, for the amount of events that they have going on, and they're the bigger company, obviously, in the sport. But you look at the UFC right now, and the storyline for this year has really been there's a lack of star power, and we're trying to really find who are these next guys, right? The John Joneses that retired, the GSPs that retired, the Anderson Silvas, all the guys that we have labeled on this GOAT wall.
They're all gone.
They're gone. They're gone, right? So who's next? Who's going to fill those shoes? And obviously, the name at the top of everybody's list is probably an Ilia Topuria, and he's that guy. He has the fighting ability to do it, but he's also got that thing about him. He's got that X factor. I mean, he dresses
He's got the
like
touch.
He fights. He dresses like $1 million, and he goes out there and he delivers it every single time.
He's a professional, right? Like, he looks and acts like a professional.
Yeah, and he knows how to play the game as well. He knows how to speak and just give you those sound bites, and you believe him. He's not just saying it. You know, there's guys that have done it, the Kobe Covingtons and other guys of the world, who you either love them or you hate them, but you're going to watch. But you don't necessarily believe what they're saying. But then there's guys like the Ilia Topurias, even the Ian Machado Garys. You know, I've spoken to Ian Machado Gary a number of times, and one thing that always stood out to me is he's very passionate and sincere about what he's saying. And even if I don't know if he's going to win, I don't believe what he's saying, he will convince you in some way or another because he's got so much confidence in himself. And I think that's what people gravitate to in the fight game, is people that have this confidence that maybe the audience doesn't have. And they go, how is this guy? Not only is this guy a badass fighter and he looks the part, but he's got this unwavering confidence where he just feels like he can take on the world. And people gravitate towards that, man. And so we're looking for more people like that in the fight game. And I think, we're obviously starting over with guys that are getting in the gym much younger in life, and they're starting MMA as a whole much earlier in life than these other guys that, we started in wrestling, we started in Muay Thai, and then you kind of picked up all the martial arts. So I think there's going to be that little bit of a lull for a couple years where we're still getting stars now and then, but it takes a matter of time. Remember when the women's division started, it was Ronda Rousey and the rest were just not even close, right? And then you look at it now, like the 135-pound bantamweight women's division, it's sparse, man. I mean, there's not a lot of talent right there. They're still kind of recouping. And I think that's the same thing that's happening. We're going through this cycle where we lost a lot of our stars. We have these new stars emerging, and these young fighters are getting better and better at an earlier age. And we're just waiting for them to kind of come out on their own and show that confidence and swagger and have the success inside the UFC.
I think you're right about Topuria. I think he is the number one guy to lead the company right now. I don't like them talking about him moving up to welterweight. I think that's biting off way too much.
We saw the physicality difference even at 55.
I was going to say,
he knocked him out.
Charles, when they got in the clinch and they got a little bit of grappling pummeling, you could tell he got out muscled very quickly. I think a 170er who walks around at 205 will absolutely take him down and squeeze the life out of him.
Yeah, no, I saw the same thing. When these guys collided, they kind of locked horns before the knockout happened. You saw Ilia Topuria kind of stumble back against the fence, and it was just because of the size of Max Holloway. Now, you go up to welterweight. Now, I think even at welterweight, he would have a little bit of trouble at that size against Islam Makhachev. But if it was against Islam Makhachev, I do like his chances. If Islam Makhachev beats Jack Della Maddalena, and Ilia Topuria went up, I would be leaning towards Ilia Topuria in that matchup, stylistic wise, because I don't think the weight would be too much. But
because he's moving up his
other bigger welterweight, I think we might see the size actually start to matter.
Like an Ian McGregor, imagine someone that size. Ian Machado. Ian Machado, I meant, sorry. So I said Ian McGregor.
Machado Gary. I mean, so long. And even, you're seeing even Islam Makhachev have some reservations about it, right? He wanted to go up to welterweight. He felt like he was a big 50. He was a big 55er. And so what I worry for Islam Makhachev is he always went in and look, phenomenal skill. Islam Makhachev, number one pound for pound fighter in the world for quite a while. But he always had a 5 to 8 pound weight advantage over a lot of the guys. Now that he went up, he's kind of tapering off around like 186, 187, where he's going to be going up against welterweights who walk into the octagon around 195. And so now he's going to be the guy at the 5 to 8 pound deficit in weight. And that could be the difference in that one takedown that wins that fifth round. Like when you look at the close matchup with him and Volkanovski in the very first fight, that could be the difference. So I think
10 years ago, you could have got away with that. But as the sport is developing and everybody's getting better and everyone is closer to each other in levels of skill and talent, that 8 pounds now makes a way bigger difference than it did before.
Yeah, because there's not a lot of holes in the game. Especially, there's some at the beginning of the lower tier UFC, but not at the top. At the top, everybody's good at everything. Everybody's strong. Everybody's doing drastic weight cuts. They're putting on 20 plus pounds. You have to have every single advantage in there. And I think for the first time in Islam Makhachev's career, going up to welterweight, he's going to be the smaller guy. He's going to be at a weight disadvantage for the first time. So if he gets through that task, and for him, I hope that he does. I hope that Islam makes this happen because to me, that's the biggest fight in the UFC. Islam Makhachev versus Ilia Topuria. That's the biggest fight you can make. Obviously, the John Jones thing, I think that ship kind of sailed. I would love to see it. I don't know if it would happen, but anything involving Conor McGregor, I don't think that's probably the one I have the least confidence that would ever happen.
I think that ship has sailed.
That ship has probably sailed. John Jones coming back. Both guys saying, they're kind of putting out there, they're getting back in the testing pool. I'd have a little more faith that maybe John would come back. realistically, John Jones, Tom Aspinall, that's a fight everybody wants to see. That would be the biggest fight to me above Ilia Topuria versus Islam. But I think John Jones would come back for a different fight, if I'm being honest. I think an Alex Pereira going up to heavyweight, if he loses in this rematch,
that one,
and he says, I'm going to move up to heavyweight, that's a fight that I think John Jones will all of a sudden go, you know what? I got that itch. I'm ready to come back. And I think John Jones seeing Alex Pereira going to heavyweights, I would take that fight. Maybe that would be like a White House fight, and they would have some made up presidential belt or BMF type belt or something.
Dana already said he can't trust John Jones to fight on that card. He already said no way.
What's that? Dana said
he already publicly said that no way would I allow John Jones on the White House card because I can't count.
Did Dana say that?
Yes.
I guess maybe they are,
Can you blame him? A little bit more. Can you blame him for that opinion? I don't.
I don't, but you know what? Dana says that, but if John Jones comes back and Donald Trump wants him on that card, it's kind of hard to say no. I mean, what are you going to do? No,
the guy's had the real boss.
He's had some felony charges. We can't have him on the card, Mr. President.
Dude, he's about to get some more. He just threatened that cop, told he was going to kill him and stuff. But let's not focus on that too much. Listen, I want to change it up and ask you a fun question before we get off. You're talking about weight, talking about how much weight these guys cut. Tell me a story about you having a hard time making weight. Did you ever? I don't think you ever missed weight that I remember. Tell me a story.
Yeah, well, I've never missed weight for sure throughout my entire career. A story about weight cut. I'll say this. Kenny Johnson was my wrestling coach. Kenny Johnson was a wrestling coach at Black House. You're familiar with him. Kenny Johnson comes from that old school wrestling background, and he's a very physical guy. And anytime we would be in the sauna and he would be in there with us, he would suffer with us. But when you would start kind of having a little bit of doubt in your mind, Kenny would slap the shit out of you on your back as hard as he could. And I'm in fight mode, and I'm cutting weight. I'm
hungry, angry.
I'm hangry. And I would look at him like, what the fuck are you, bro? Like wanting to fight him. And then he would just justify it. It's going to help you cut weight. It's going to help you sweat more. It would hit you. And I remember in my mind, I don't think I ever told him, I go, Kenny, in my mind, I'm thinking, I'm about to kill you, Kenny. Do not. I was so irritated, but he would just slap the shit out of you. And there were guys that would pass out in the sauna, the steam room, and they would start trying to slowly zombie walk their way out of there. And he would grab them and drag them back in. It wasn't going to be an easy weight cut. Kenny Johnson was the guy that always made sure you were on point. I never missed weight, but I didn't enjoy those weight cuts with him.
At least he made sure you got there.
I always made it for sure.
All right, well, Alan, I appreciate it. That's 15 minutes. I love the stories. Love the info on the commentating stuff. Thank you so much. I'm kind of upset we finally have a better looking person on the show than me, but you get a pass. Thanks for joining us here in the Fight Guys.
My pleasure, brother.